How's it going, everyone? I'm Contemption, and today we're talking about Bjorn. I'm actually on my free-to-play account right now, who's at the tail end of KVK Season 1, and Bjorn has been fantastic. I was not expecting to make Bjorn level 60 with the gear he has before I started this free-to-play jumper because I knew such little about this commander. But we're going to go over all of it, the talent trees, the equipment, the skills, all of that fun stuff. Let's get through the intro and dive right in. Here we go. Okay, so Bjorn's a beauty. And the reason he is as good as he is the instant proc damage that he gets from his 4 skill. I won't lie, that has been a huge success in this KVK on making sure the reports I get back are in the positive most of the time, unless I'm surrounded or taking on a T5. Even though I did get some decent trades with T5, of course, they're T5, and this is a mid-research T4 account. So let's go over first off the civilization. Now, the Viking civilization is pretty cool. It's got, and if you switch over to it here, health and defense. If you look at the T5, so I'm France right now, who's heavy on health, but this is a mix between health and defense. So they've got a pretty good special unit. It's nice to see an infantry epic commander with the civilization having the same special unit as the commander has talents and skills, of course. So Bjorn is part of the Viking civilization. It's got infantry attack plus 5%, which is nice. Counterattack damage plus 3%, and troop load 10%. So it is not as good as France. I'm sorry, it's just not. I understand you're getting an attack, you're getting a mix of defense and health, but France still is my absolute go-to for infantry. Just the health buff, the healing speed, everything works so good for France. I don't think I'll ever be able to switch off it on any of my accounts just because of how much it saves me in speed ups. But the Viking civilization is good. If you're gonna start with Bjorn as a first commander, I don't think it's a bad thing. I, of course, would go with China with Sun Tzu to get him finished off first, especially because you're gonna benefit from his AoE defeating barbs during the Lohar event on your jumper before you jump using your beginner's teleport, and then after when you get there as well. So Sun Tzu just has so much more built-in utility that it makes him more effective in early game, and as well using him against players in PvP in KVK. Vikings is a good choice though, definitely something you can go for, but again, I would choose France. Now let's talk about his skills. Now his skills are what set him apart. He's like a mini Alex. If you know much about Alex, he has that instant proc damage, and it is fantastic. It helps a lot. 800 damage factor randomly popping off is so nice to see in reports and in open field. But he also does a decent amount, and now his expertise does boost this, so we'll go over this at the same time. But he deals direct damage to 800 or of 800 damage factor to one target. Now, let me be very clear about that. He only does damage to one target. I know his expertise is a bit of a difficult read after that, but I'll explain. So beforehand, it was just 500 increased damage factor, increasing their skill damage taken for 10% for 3 seconds, which is the target you were attacking. The confusion that even I was confused about when I first started working Bjorn was I thought that he was doing that 700 damage in a fan-shaped area, but it's not. So what it is you're doing direct damage to one target of 700, and then you're causing that target and 2 other nearby enemies in a forward fan-shaping area to take 15% increased skill damage for 3 seconds. So you're kind of putting a debuff on them, which is why I had so much success with Bjorn as primary, Sun Tzu secondary in this KVK, because he's increasing the skill damage by 15% on 3 out of the 5 targets that Sun Tzu can hit. So he worked really well. And he's got the skill tree, he's got the infantry tree. We'll go over what build I've been using. But his primary skill is fantastic, especially when boosted by his expertise. It's not how it reads, but it's still very good. Troops led by this commander gain 15% increased attack when attacking cities. This doesn't matter for 99.9% of players out there. I don't think anybody rallies cities with Bjorn. I've never seen it. I hope I don't see it. I won't be joining rallies who do it, because that should be left for expertise. Legendary commanders, even like Mina and Double C, much better. Don't launch rallies with an epic commander against cities. Unless it's really weak city and it's early game, then okay. But otherwise, you shouldn't be doing that. Okay. Third skill, infantry units led by this commander gain 10% increased attack, which is nice, and 10% increased defense. Again, this is kind of like Yulji, where it's not a huge buff, but it does help. It is nice to have. It really comes down to his fourth skill, where normal attacks have a 10% chance to deal direct damage to the target of 800 damage factor. This skill can trigger once every 5 seconds, and you see it pop off a lot. It is awesome. The longer you have him out in open field, the better the reports are, especially with Sun Tzu as a secondary. Fantastic commander to use. I will 100% be using him in my next jumper account, which is coming at the end of May, early June. 100%. Great commander. I will run him as a primary again with Sun Tzu as a secondary. Gonna have some cavalry as well mixed in there, but I think Bjorn is fantastic. Let's talk about talent tree. So this is what I run. So I run full infantry. Absolutely full. I get strong of body. I get the extra 1% defense, 1% health. I get all the march speed, because when you're fighting players who have max tech, it's really hard to run away unless you have as much march speed as you possibly can. So I did run Windswept on this march for a very long time, but now I have better gear that just makes me tankier. But this is the talent tree I suggest. You can go for Buckler's Shield, but remember, it's only the counterattack damage you're taking from the march you're attacking. So it's just against one enemy. It's not like when I first read this talent, I thought it was all of the counterattack damage I was getting if being swarmed, but no, it's just the one you're hitting. Of course, you want to get Rejuvenate. I think that's very important. It's a little bit wasted with Sun Tzu being secondary, because he already gets a lot of rage from his primary, and of course the rage cap being 220. You can only use so much rage in one turn, but I think it is still good to have for Bjorn's primary casting. Obviously, Tactical Mastery, is that tactical? I don't know why I read that differently in my head. Tactical Mastery is very good, increasing commander deals skill damage by 3%. Great, you're doing a lot of skill damage on this commander, so that helps. And then reduce skill damage taken by 6%. This is definitely what I suggest. I don't think I'm going to change this anytime soon unless I discover something that I was missing, but I don't think I am. It would be nice to get clarity, but I just don't know if it's worth taking away the defense and the march speed. You could do it, and it would be great for Sun Tzu because it's going to work on his skill casting AoE. However, I just don't want to get rid of everything else, because I think it just makes him a little bit more tanky and a little bit faster, and that's what we're going for. Gear. So as you can see, I did originally run full Windswept, which is great. For starting off, full Windswept is fantastic. I don't have the weapon anymore. I dismantled it, but I have the infantry green. What is it called? I better just find the name so I'm not absolutely butchering it here and confusing people. And I do need to check on my city, but Blessed Blade, I ran that for a while. Very cheap to craft, very easy to get specialization. I think it's 7.5 or 8% health when it's specialized. Very strong. But then you work your way up. You get yourself Gatekeeper Shield, specialized, of course. You get Windswept Helm first. I got really lucky with Witch's Lineage. I got it out of a crystal key, like all of my other gear here that I got very lucky with. And it was specialized first craft. Very lucky. I don't think I'm going to get that lucky for the next time I do a jumper, but this was phenomenal to have. Of course, Test Brutality is good. You can also do Windswept Bracers. Nothing wrong with that. Get it specialized so that you get the extra health and the extra march speed. It all adds up. Chest Piece, I don't think I'm going to go for anything else. Really, you could do, I'm going to forget the name of it now, of course. I do know the name of it. I don't know why it's not coming to me. Quinsoul. Jeez. Quinsoul is okay. I just, unless it's specialized, I don't know if it's going to be worth it. You can just go with Windswept Breastplate. Gives you, what is that, 6% defense instead of 8% attack. I think that's really good. You get the march speed as well. If you're going to do anything in wait for the Hope Cloak. Really, that is your next best upgrade. Kerouac's Humility, fantastic. Again, you can run ranged trousers to begin with. Easy to get, easy to specialize, and it's cheap. And it does damage to barbarians, which really helps in early on. And then there's Sentry Breaches, which is the next step up from that. The only reason I'm not wearing Sentry Breaches and haven't specialized them is because I got lucky with Kerouac's Humility for that 8% health. Fantastic. But otherwise, you can do that. Scarlet Hounds. Highly suggest that you can run the Windswept Boots, but it's only 2.5% defense. It'll go up when you specialize it. It's expensive to specialize. I went with Scarlet Hounds. 5.5% health is better than the March Speed in my opinion. It's just better. Obviously running Call of the Loyal, that's really the only other accessory I got on this one. Could have gotten a Silent Trial or Delaney's from the epic accessory choice chest you get from some holiday events. Highly suggest getting that because trying to get these in a kingdom as a free-to-play account, very difficult. Most of it goes to the whales, which is totally understandable, and I don't have enough time to grind those on this account. But that's the gear I suggest. Though that's the talent tree. I think Bjorn is a fantastic commander. You can put him behind commanders as well. You could put him behind Sun Tzu. You could put him behind Charles Martel. You could put him behind Richard. You could put him behind Yulji if that's who you've already worked. He's fantastic. I do like him as a primary because of the skill tree. He wasn't overly targeted, to be honest with you. People ignored him, which was fantastic. And I don't think people understood how much damage he was really doing. But once people started realizing, and of course seeing my live streams, they did start targeting me very quickly. It's just going to happen. But for that early part of KVK, I got away with a lot. And I was just hitting people from behind, everybody ignoring me, and the reports were phenomenal. I have those videos, so you should definitely check them out. But there you go, guys. I think Bjorn is fantastic. I highly suggest him. I will 100% work him again on my next jumper, along with some other commanders that I'll go over in the next videos. So thank you guys for checking this one out. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Please do hit the like and subscribe. I got lots more videos to go. I'm recording before I go away for holidays, and here we go. Have a good one, guys. Later.